Alright, so this is going to be the boss's ultimate solo queue guide, and I've criticized his, his playstyle a lot, but I do think his Scion is insanely good, probably the best in the world, to be honest. His Aurelia, if he played AD, maybe, but it's actually decent too. But, as someone who criticized his playstyle, but I think sometimes he actually does well when he proxies and all that stuff and gets the wave. That's really good. Some of the ints I don't agree with, so let's see how he, what his mindset is going into this. Let's check it out.
Hello, my name is TheBausffs's, and welcome to my official solo queue guide.
Oh, the Quinn.
Oh, Pentakin.
Oh, not the Rammus. Actually,
Nice.
I like the Rammus. Into a lot of AD.
Hey.
What? Why is he playing Zed? Why is Zed in this video? He's 6 and 13.
Why get in?
You know
In
what?
case you're new here, like I said earlier, I'm TheBausffs's, league streamer on Twitch, who is currently challenger, and my favorite champion is Scion. So why me? What gives me the right to teach you how to play the game? I've been a challenger every single year. Last year I peaked rank 11 or 12 on EU. I also got challenger in Korea. Damn! This year I peaked rank 15, and I'm currently challenger. So those would be my kinda qualifications, I guess. What type of guide is this going to be, and why am I making it? This guide is going to have tips and tricks for my top 4 champions, Scion, Gragas,
Aurelia,
and Rammus.
Oh.
But it's not only going to be a champion guide, it's also going to touch on general knowledge of the game, alright? So why am I making this guide? A big reason for why I'm making this guide is there are concepts.
I haven't seen him playing Quinn in such a long time.
Freezing, slow pushing, you shouldn't build armor versus magical damage. These you have seen in all types of guides here and there, but there are concepts or tricks that I use in every single one of my games that I haven't seen or heard anyone in the League community ever talk about. So a big reason why I'm making this guide is to teach you guys something completely new.
That's really good of him to do.
That I haven't heard, and you probably never heard anyone talk about before.
I think, actually, I don't know.
Before I get into the tips and tricks, I like to do a quick disclaimer first. Lately, a lot of people have been wanting me to be permanently banned for my playstyle and stuff like this. I'm not making this guide to try and defend myself, or I'm not making this guide to force my playstyle onto anyone. There are so many people that play a lot more normally who are way better than me. So I'm not saying that how I'm playing the game is the correct way or anything like that. All I want to do with this video is show how I've been getting high elo these last few years and maybe teach you a thing or two. That's all I want to do. I'm not looking for more controversy.
Yeah, he's trying in most of the games, right?
So then we got my top 4 champions, Scion, Gragas, Rammus and Quinn. Starting off with Scion, we got the grasp setup. I guess what's important here is the demolish and the conditioning. Never go shield bash and never go second wind or bone plating. This is very crucial. These are the better runes. And then always
I kind of agree.
Minion Dematerializer. Minion Dematerializer is, in my opinion, the strongest rune in League of Legends.
What?
I like to go magic resist over armor because it's more gold efficient. Health doesn't really work on Scion because you already get so much health.
What did he say?
For armor.
This is a really... Is it? I mean... I don't think so, but okay. I'm not the laner, right?
More because it's more gold efficient. Health doesn't really work on Scion because you already get so much health. And
this I think is pretty good. I like the MR versus the armor. I like that. That's actually pretty good tip, honestly.
Other than that, that's pretty standard.
And the health thing too.
You feel confident enough to play AD Scion, you feel like you have a lot of games on Scion, this would be the rune page setup. Again, demolish conditioning, something like this. and then you were to build lethality. I only suggest this if you feel like you've mastered the champion first. Going into Gragas, phase rush page.
I don't know why he goes to
100%
attack
sure
speed.
with
Kind of
the
wish he went
secondary
in depth on that one.
Magical footwear. Sometimes I switch it up to maybe demolish conditioning. Whatever I feel like playing. This is what I go most of the games.
Okay.
It's pretty standard.
Ability
nothing
haste.
to really think about.
Yeah, I like that, I
Moving on
guess.
to Rammus. We got the aftershock. Always needs to go aftershock. Aftershock is very important on Rammus.
I think DMAT on Rammus is really good
late
though.
Game.
Top
and
lane.
here again, minion demoralizer. You want to use them.
Yes, 'cause
one
he's
melee, one
proxying.
range, one cannon. Go double armor. You never want to put yourself in a position where you're playing versus an AP champion. So
Yep.
this is always going to be double armor because it gives more damage. Other than that, it's all pretty standard. Going into the Quinn, we got the electrocute page. We're not playing press the attack, we're not playing lethal tempo. We're going assassin Quinn, and this is the
Yep.
room page
I like that one.
I use every single game when I play her. You're playing an assassin, non-ADC.
Okay.
With the mid-season
Interesting.
update being right around the corner, it's a little bit weird to talk about what items to build, because some of this is going to change. For Scion, the lethality build is going to be completely different. The tank Scion build is going to be more or less the same. Sunfire, Swiftness Boots, always Swiftness Boots, Harsh Steel, Hullbreaker, Titanic. Starting Kull, of course. That's gonna be about the same.
Hey,
Gragas.
what about-
You wanna start Mana Crystal refillable, and then you wanna go into Lost Chapter and
I wanna
get
know more
Ionian
about the
boots,
call
and
start.
then you wanna do the book build. So the book build is you stack Fiendish Codexes. Multiple of them.
What
It's
the
a very
fuck?
gold efficient item. And then you get Everfrost somewhere
What?
between there.
Oh,
That's
okay.
also going to be quite the same as after the mid.
I agree with the CDR and Gragas
What you
though.
want to do late game is you want to finish the books one after the other. So you want to finish the Cosmic Drive, Sonias, etc.
I don't know about stacking
Quinn,
Fiendish
This one is
Codex,
gonna
but
be completely
okay.
different. Rammus, you starting Cloth Armor, and then you rush 4 mail. 4 mail is the only damage you have in your kit, so you gotta rush this item as soon as possible. You get Sword Boots.
Yes, I agree.
for
The
more
Sword
magic
that
damage.
Sword is
You don't need
OP.
AP for this to work.
Even
And then
Shroud.
you rush armor items like Chain Vest Wardens. You get Even Shroud. Even Shroud is better than Jack Show. And then you go into Gargoyle, and then you finish the items. Don't build these items.
I think
on
rushing
Rammus. They're
Even
very
Shroud is
bad,
probably
especially
good.
Frozen Heart.
Yeah,
Never
yeah,
build
I agree
this.
with that.
One thing I am
A lot of
going
that I
to
agree
go
with.
over are terrible items.
But I think
you should
rushing
never build.
Even Shroud
And
is probably
these
better.
are all the Doran's items.
I don't know.
Health Potion, Corrupting Potion, and Control Ward. Why should you never build these items? Well, first of all, they're not very impressive. But that's not the reason why you shouldn't build them. The reason you shouldn't build them is because they all trick the bounty system into thinking you have money that you don't have. So, I'll give you an example. Let's say you buy a Doran's Blade, and then you sell it for 180 gold. Then you technically lost 270 gold, but the bounty system will still think you have that amount of money. So if you're even with your opponent in items, but you bought a Doran's that you later sold, the bounty system is gonna give you a bounty, because you technically had a lot more gold. You just ended up wasting.
Okay, let me comment this. If you are playing the playstyle he plays, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, this is actually an insane point that he makes. That's why he goes call. But then you get 400 gold when you get call, right? So, okay, maybe. But this makes a lot of sense, because if he's gonna int, then he's gonna, yeah. If what he says is true, I don't know if it's true, but it's probably true.
270
Makes a lot of
of
sense.
it because you decided to buy a Doran's in the early game. Never build these items on any champion in the game. Supports, I'll give you a pass to buy like 1 or 2 control wards, but any other champion in any other role should never buy any of these.
Hey!
Someone's
Whoa! Even the pink ward? I agree with the health pot. Health pot sucks, man. It's a waste of gold. I 100% agree with this garbage. This thing, I don't see what's the point of buying this on after your first base or even second. I even hated second base. If you can't get a refill on second one or first base, just go with control wards. And I mean, okay, now he says he don't think of control wards. I absolutely hate health pot. I'm a jungler and I think it's really gold inefficient. I wish I'd never buy it if I don't have to, but I do buy it
I'll give
on
you
jungle.
a pass to buy like 1 or 2 control wards, but any other champion in any other role should never buy any of these. With summoner spells, I always go TP. I think Ignite on top lane is a huge mistake. TP
Okay.
will give you way more.
That's a
I
buff
usually go
next
TP
patch.
and Flash or TP or Ghost, depending on what champion I play. I never take Ignite. Ignite on top lane is bad. A huge part of the game is drafting and champion select, so you need to know how to do it right. What most people do is they'll look at the enemy champion, enemy team comp, and then they'll counter pick with a champion of their own. But a much more important thing to think about is a rule that I always follow, and I call it the everything rule. So the best draft team comp you can possibly have is a team comp that does everything a little bit. So they have a frontliner, they have AP and AD damage, they have range, they have AoE, they have a mage, an assassin, an enchanter, they have everything, right? That is the best type of team comp. It's a team comp with a little bit of everything. So what I usually like to do is, I like to fill all the spots that my team missed. So if my team picked a really squishy team comp, I pick a frontliner. If my team picked...
Okay, so... Okay, so... If you guys are looking at this draft, there's only one thing that fixes this draft. It's called AP Varus. Otherwise, Gragas, is it banned? I don't see it banned. It really good into Malphite, and you have a Yasuo. I think Gragas looks pretty... I mean, honestly, Yasuo into their team comp fucking sucks, but Gragas is probably the best champion here. I don't think Scion is good here, and you won't... I don't even know what happens this game, but Varus does not... I think Varus is... Most Varuses won't build OP because they're kind of great, like they're one-dimensional. Okay, they're not used to AP Varus. But anyways,
no CC, I'll pick a champion with CC. If my team picked only melee champions, I'll go Quinn top, and I'll try and fill all the stuff we don't have in a team comp. So what I'm gonna do a lot of my games is the enemy team will pick
Rammus,
Quinn,
OP.
let's say. I'm purposely picking Scion into it, knowing it's a bad matchup. But the team needs a frontliner, so I'll purposely get a good team comp, but ruin my own laning phase. That is...
Okay, how about this? Let's say he had a winning matchup into Gwen, so... I mean, I don't even know what beats Gwen. Maybe... I don't even know if Gragas beats it, but Quinn sounds actually pretty good. I actually have no idea how that matchup would go, but Quinn, and then I guess your middle had to pick a frontliner. Yeah, honestly, they kind of do need a frontline, but there's Gragas, definitely not Rammus, and I guess he 4-tricks, right? Technically in this video, I guess there's AP Relia. Honestly, he's kind of right about this one, so Scion is a good tank and frontline, but he might play lethality. I mean, I don't know. Gragas or Scion is good here. I'd probably pick Gragas though.
Needs a frontliner.
I'd probably pick
so
Gragas.
I'll purposely get a good team comp, but ruin my own laning phase. That is much more important than having a good matchup, is to have a good team comp. The everything rule. In majority of my games,
it's kind of true also what he said.
Minutes,
we can survive.
Looks something like this, or this, or this, or even any of these. And now you might say, Baus, you're a damn Inter, you're a terrible laner, what are you doing? But you haven't seen the full story. Taking a look at the same game, same opponent, same timestamp, and then we take a look.
Wow. You guys see this? Okay, but like, he gave it all to Kennen, right?
Look at the...
If you actually look at this, I mean, their Belveth is 1v9ing, their Varus is super fed. That's actually, that sucks. Height? Huh. This is pretty interesting, honestly. This is so weird to see. It's actually insane, but I kind of like it. Okay. Yeah, honestly, the bounty system could just absolutely be in benefit of his
goal lead. And you'll see that I actually have a goal lead in majority of my games. And it's not even a small goal lead. Sometimes it's a goal lead so big that it's hard to even understand where that even came from. And I will explain to you guys what I do in the first 14 minutes that it helps me get such a big goal lead, even though I die a lot.
So what I want to say though, also remember, if he does this inting playstyle, whatever, if this champion, if the enemy team top laner is really good into your team, that is really bad. So like, let's say they had their only tank was Poppy or Ornn top, and you had Scion. I don't know why he'd into Scion into Ornn, right? It doesn't make sense. But let's just say he inted into them, and you had Tryndamere mid, I don't know, Nocturne jungle, and a really heavy AD Sivir, right? That champion is going to tank your team, and it's kind of bad. You know what I mean? It's kind of it will suck. But it's Kennen win V9 into this game. It's very hard for her to actually hit Zeri, good into Varus, Maybe can get ulted by Varus though. So I would, and Maokai will just die to Kennen. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is I wouldn't recommend the anything strat if that champion 1v9s into your team, right? So
came from, and I will explain to you guys.
But he
what
can
I
also
do
carry
in the first
and also
14
draw
minutes
pressure.
That it helps me get such a big goal lead, even though I die a lot. Finally made it into the game. My first in-game tip is going to be something I haven't heard anyone in the League of Legends community talk about or even mention, and that's gonna be respawn timers. So when you die, terrible, you give 300 gold to your opponent, that sucks. But what really matters is that you're dead for a certain amount of time and you're not on the map helping your team. That is the worst part about dying, is that you're not on the map. So how does the respawn timer work? Well, it has two factors. One is how late into the game it is. So the later into the game, the higher the death timer. And then two, how high level you are. The higher level you are, the higher the death timer. But here's the catch. I wrote down some numbers for you guys. This is level 1, level 2, level 3, etc. Goes plus 2 seconds each level. Looks good. But once you reach level 6 and you level up to level 7, you get plus 5 seconds on your death timer. And then when you go from level 7 to level 8, you get plus 7 seconds on your death timer. And then it goes back to being plus 2 every level.
How does anyone even... does anyone even know? I can't believe he even researched and like actually knows this. What the hell?
This goes like this for every champion in the game, and it's really weird. I don't know why it is like that, but it's important to know. I'll explain later how you can use this to your advantage. With this knowledge, you can make sure that every time you die, you're not gonna lose an advantage from it.
Oh god.
All I'm going to say is bounty
it's gonna make
system.
everyone
The bounty system is completely broken, and I abuse it every single game. It's quite complicated, so I'll start off by talking about negative bounty. If someone dies a lot in a game, they'll be worth less and less gold. Taking out all the other factors, whether your team is doing well, if you have a lot of CS or not. In general, this is how it's gonna look. Your first death, you're gonna be worth 300
what
gold.
The hell?
And then already by the second death, you're worth less with 274. And then third death, you're worth 220, and then etc, etc. Now if you have no kills, assist, and you have 5 deaths, your life is only worth 112 gold. And now, I watched so many guys out there, you have 100% heard this as well. They've said something like, oh, a good player knows how to get carried. If you're having a bad game, play safe under your tower and let your team carry you. That is completely false. If you're going 0-5 and your life is only worth 112 gold, you need to be the playmaker. It is very low risk, because you only give 100 gold, and huge reward. If you're feeding, you cannot start playing safe, because your life is not worth as much, so you need to be the one that makes plays and risks. You gotta be the one risking your life. You can't let your teammates risk their lives. You gotta be the playmaker, especially if you're feeding. All these tips about playing safe when you're having a rough game, they're completely false. You gotta be the playmaker, because your life in this scenario would only be worth 112 gold, so you gotta make plays.
So he is right, and at the same time also wrong. So if your bot side, I mean, it depends, right? Your bot side is winning, and you know their only way to win and come back is top side. It is okay to play safe, because you can't really have. I mean, you can have 3 winning lanes, but let's say your bot side's winning, right? Then you can play safe and just kind of get carried, right? If every lane is losing and you're losing pretty hard, you actually have to do something, otherwise you're just gonna bleed out. So I agree with him and disagree with him, but obviously it's scenario based. So like, I do agree with him that you know why the top players have great KDAs and are like rank 110? It's because they play extremely aggressive and are playmakers. So I agree with him more than I disagree with him.
Now let's talk about the positive bounty system, where if you die, you're worth...
He's talking about top lane. This is point is not jungler. Yes, like it's kind of the same, right? Like, what if you're getting dove under? Like, what if you're taking stupid trades and you know that, and like that you're just gonna get set up to get dove? It doesn't make sense. And like the enemy jungler is obviously top side, right? But yeah, he is more right than wrong, because if you're 1 in 10 and you make the game winning play, the game winning play, right? You play Gragas flash onto their jinx and he flashed, and all I did to your team, you won.
More
so you
300 gold.
can be
what
the
most people think
playmaker.
happens is if you get a goal lead over your opponent, you'll get a bounty on your head, which makes sense. And it kind of works
your
like
job,
that in
basically,
general,
is what I'm saying.
but not quite. Because again, the system is completely broken, and I'm here to explain it and help you manipulate it.
Coming a mile away.
In League of Legends, there's 6 main sources of income. There's kills, assists, minions, turrets destroyed, platings, and gold items, like cool and support items. Now these different sources of income will have a different impact on the bounty, so let me give you an example. If you farm 300 gold worth of minions, that will give you a lower bounty than if you got 1 kill worth of 300 gold. So even though in both scenarios you got 300 gold, depending on where you got the gold from, that will determine
I noticed
how
this a
big
lot.
your bounty is going to be. So,
it was really
what
weird.
is the best way to make money in League of Legends? Kills are a terrible way to make money. If you can kill your opponent and that will give you a CS advantage or anything else above it, that's great.
Yep.
But just getting kills alone barely gives you anything, alright? You get to 300 gold, but you're gonna realize once you're at 4 kills, 5 kills, you're already going to have a 1k gold bounty.
Yeah.
So the bounty system is ruthless when it comes to kills. You're gonna get 1500 gold from kills, and then you die once and you give back 1k gold. Same goes.
What is this? Look at this. You see this? Look at this. They're 33. They're only 800 gold down. Oh, what the fuck? He's 200 CS. This bounty system doesn't make any sense. They're actually ahead. This is crazy. Oh my god, it's all on him though. Yeah. This is actually pretty crazy. What?
This don't give as much money, so it's not as noticeable. Going to minions. Minions is a great way to make money. It's very stable. The bounty system doesn't attack it the same way as it does with kills. If you farm really well, you will rarely get a bounty on your head. Now, of course, if you overfarm, you are going to get a bounty, but it's not as bad as getting kills. Moving on, turrets destroyed. Turrets destroyed works a little bit differently. What killing towers usually do is it enables the enemy team to get objective bounty.
What is this? He has to 1v9 this game. What is that? This is actually insane.
Or it goes one step closer to getting objective bounties. Now, objective bounties are not as scary as the individual bounties, so you shouldn't even worry about this. Destroying towers is always a good thing. It's a great way to make money. You're not gonna get an individual bounty for it, so it's great to do. Always destroy towers. And then we're moving on to platings and gold items. These two, getting cool and taking platings, is the single best way to make money. It's crazy. You know, you can go a game getting 15 platings for yourself. You can get that's 2,600 gold. You can get 2,600 gold worth of platings, and your bounty wouldn't move an inch. You will not get a singular inch of a bounty. It is completely tax-free. Riot bounty system doesn't account for platings. If you can, you should always secure this. That is why the first 14 minutes of the game are the most important minutes of any game. Hopefully you learned something.
That's kind of insane, actually.
But what is the point about knowing how something works if you don't know how to utilize it in your games? So that is what this section is for. Finally, we're getting into the gameplay.
That minion thing and bounty, that's really weird.
The early game is the first 14 minutes of the game. It's also the most important minutes of any game. And now you know what you might be thinking. Boss, there's no way I'm taking laning.
By the way, this bounty system is actually very deceiving if you think about it, right? Like, just let's look at the items. And I know the asshole just died, right? But if you look, 1 item and almost complete 2 items. This guy is the same, 1 item and almost complete 2 items. This guy completed his item. This guy has 1 item. Why is he joining a demonic embrace, by the way? That's super weird. Like, they're actually not that behind, and this guy has like 3 items. This guy has 1 item. This guy has a very expensive item, but and is ahead. This guy has not a complete item and has 2 items, right? So if you're looking at this, you actually should fight always top side. Ignore the Xayah unless boss can kill him. Anyways, that's what I was gonna just kind of say. It's okay. Anyways,
we're getting into the gameplay. Starting off, we have the early game. The early game is the first 14 minutes of the game. It's also the most important minutes of any game. And now you know what you might be thinking. Baus, there's no way I'm taking laning phase tips from you. You're the worst laner in the entire EU.
No, he's really good, Scion.
That is false. Okay, it is false.
Best
I'm
Scion in the
actually a
world.
great laner. I would consider myself, my biggest strength is actually my laning phase. Going into the stats here in the league line,
The hell?
you take current season Scion, then you go into the income. You can see that on average, at 15 minutes, I have a 900 goal lead. Every single game on average.
What?
900 goal lead at 15 minutes. Now,
Oh.
if I'm going 0-4 and my opponent laner is 4-0, it might look like I'm losing the lane. But again, on average, over my opponent, I have a 900 goal lead. Actually, my biggest strength is my laning phase. Yeah, I'm gonna show you what I do and how I get this goal lead. The idea is that you pick Scion, who is a late game champion. You buy Kull, who is a late game item. You take the runes that I chose, who are all late game runes. But how the hell are you supposed to get a goal lead into the early game then? That makes no sense. Well, your opponent is always going to beat you. So the idea is that you wanna mismatch your tempo. Now you might not understand what I mean there, so I'll try and explain it. But you want to be in lane when your opponent is not in lane, and you want to take the base when your opponent is in lane, if that makes sense. So there's nothing you can do level 1. Level 1, you both will come to lane at the same time. There's no strategy behind it. You're gonna die because you're all late game, and he bought potions. He maybe got a Dorans or whatever, so he's gonna kill you. Now what I like to do is I like to farm safe the first 2 waves. Try and get as many as you can. You'll take a lot of damage. It's fine to take a lot of damage, but as soon as wave 3 comes, as soon as it comes, what you do is you walk up and you just queue the whole wave. The opponent will hit you and kill you, but you queue it, he will then kill you, and then after he kills you, you'll clear the whole thing in the passive. That is the strategy. And during this time, you get to clear the whole wave, and now of course, it's able to crash in. Now it stayed a bit, but it's still able to crash in, right? And now you get a free reset, and you're back to lane. And your opponent, because he didn't focus the minions, he has to clear all of this, and it now pushes towards me. And keep in mind, during this time, even though he killed your entire health bar, you at least did 300-400 damage to him, right? Like, you at least did some damage to him. So he's pushing all of this, and he's half health or something like that. So now you come back with a item advantage and health advantage. So what does the opponent do now? Well, he has 2 options. He can stay and be at a health disadvantage, and he will eventually die himself because, again, he has no health or no items. Or he can recall and try and TP. If he tries to recall, that's where Minion Dima comes in handy. You gotta hurry. He's recalling. You have to hurry and push all of this. It's very, very, very important you do it as fast as you can. So you do this, you Minion Dima that.
So it doesn't mean,
and, you know,
okay.
he's TPing right now, and you try and push as fast as you can. And now he's back to lane. But now he can't attack you because you have a full cannon wave with you. And once this wave cannon, he's gonna take it like always. What you do is you loop around, and you loop around here, and then you come behind him. Once you're behind him, it's a free game. GG,
What
you
the
just
fuck?
won the game.
What?
Because again, you're full late game. And if you guys know about the proxy strategy, nobody can kill you here. You're free to farm how much you want. You get 10 CS per minute no matter what you do here. Because there's no enemies. If a laning phase goes like that in the first 5 levels, you have done perfect. And then once you get here, all you basically do is just proxy till you die, basically. Or proxy till you get out of mana. And once you run out of mana, what you do then is you use suicide with 1 Q on the wave. And that should clear the whole thing, the rest in your passive. Just like this. Didn't get the cannon, but you get the idea. You get the idea. So dying enables you to mismatch your tempo. So when you're in base, your opponent has to clear the wave, and then once he's in base, you're in lane and you're able to push the lane. That is the best way of laning with this strategy, is to not be in lane the same time as your opponent is in lane. You farm minions when he's not here, he's farming them when you're not there. That is the best way. This strategy never fails. Always do that.
I agree. What the fuck? Everything he said kind of like makes sense. I love this strat. I never understood how this worked, but he always has to proxy in a cannon, because if he starts contesting him, he misses cannon, and then I 100% agree. This is actually insane. Also, this gets jungle pressure onto you, so that's like, I mean, if it's a snowball jungle, that will suck, but like, it gets jungle pressure on you, but your jungler should be pressuring the bot lane. So this is a really good weak side strategy. You see Viper do it on Riven. He starts to proxy. I don't know why he he doesn't explain it. I guess he explained it, but I probably missed it. But doing this is,
and then you come back
insanely.
And if you guys know about
it makes a lot of sense. And because he has a call, he wants to go late game. Like, proxying is a way to get to late game. It's like what Singe players do. They never want to lane and they just go proxy, right? Like, if they can win lane, they'll actually lane. But most Singes either will just proxy this and either get your proxy and maybe roam mid, or just like, yeah, they can't win lane, so they have to proxy. If they get it, that's good. It's a pretty insane strat. I think it's good for drawing a lot of pressure, as well as drawing pressure off your other lanes too. And if he gets big off it too, that's super good.
Things you have to think about is, no matter what, you need to protect your tower. She's the most precious thing in your life.
Yes.
Her health bar.
Okay, this is what I see a lot. So if you're a jungler and your lanes die, you need to protect this tower from giving free plates to the enemy. If you see that, you have to protect it. Don't ever let them get this. You need to protect. I 100% agree with this. And yeah, what TF Blade did to, if you watch that TF Blade versus TheBausffs's video, bro, what TF Blade does, I mean, he tried to int into TF Blade, like, you know, at this tower right here. You know what happened? TF Blade he fucking was playing Jax. He goes into the bush and like presses E and like trims it a even bit and has a perfect freeze and just completely screwed him. So if you're a really good top laner and you know exactly what the boss what to do, or even whatever, you know, whatever Scion player wants to do, that is an insane way to like screw that, because he gets a perfect freeze and it's going to be very hard for him to get behind the tower. I guess he could just go, but again, it's very hard and he might get like hit, right? I saw something in that game that only top laners knew, and it was TF Blade trying to deny his proxy. It was pretty cool.
It's, no matter what, you need to protect your tower. She's the most precious thing in your life. Her health bar is more important than your own health bar. And one way to keep your tower safe is to always push. Every single wave that comes, you will always shove it. Push it. As soon as it's here, you do a full combo on it and you kill it. Every single wave. This will, even if you die or not, this will always protect your tower.
Yeah, no platings. No platings.
If you're level 6 or below, you always have to push the wave here. When it comes here, you'll have to push it. If you are level 7, you have to push the wave around here. That is better. Because if you die and you're level 7, here, your death timer is actually going to be too long to be able to protect your tower. So let's say I die here. The death timer now is actually going to be too long comparing to level 6. Look, 15 seconds. So you're actually not going to be able to run. You're not going to be able to run back and defend your tower. So if you're level 6 or below, you catch the wave here, shove it instantly. If you're level 7 or above, you have to proxy and you have to catch the wave here. Best thing would be if you catch the wave here. Working hours.
What the fuck? I think, okay, this is a very lane thing, top lane thing. What the okay, this is definitely something I just learned a lot from this video, by the way. This is insanely smart, and what he said is 100% true. If you can somehow die here, whatever, proxy, it's actually insane. Okay,
here working ourselves into the mid game. This is minute 4
because they'll get platings, right?
25 maybe.
Did he die there?
I'm not quite sure. The mid game, what do I like to do? I like to be on the side lane all the time. Coming from base, maybe you've died, maybe you recalled. What do? Well, you check which lane you go to, either top or bot. You never go mid, either top or bot. So I like to see myself as a turret destroyer. So let's say this tower is gone, then I will go bot lane and I'm gonna work on this tower. Now a very important thing if you want a side lane is to push the wave first. Alright, so you're gonna be versus another opponent, target dummy again. Your job is to get the wave first. If you're able to catch the wave, as soon as it comes, boom, boom,
Boomba.
It's cleared, let's say. And then your wave is coming here. If his wave is already cleared, you then have a roam timer that you can either help your team. What I like to do is I like to sneak around, loop around here and proxy. Stay here, and then he clears the wave, right? And then when this wave comes, clear it, and now you have an insane timer. So what you're gonna do then is you're gonna threaten a roam. If your opponent answers the roam by roaming himself, then your wave is crashing into the tower, and you just go back and you'll take the tower, basically. But the important thing is to always clear the wave before your opponent. That is what enables tempo. If you have a tempo advantage, you can then roam before him, or you can take tower. Always clear the wave first.
Yeah, I agree. And then like, I don't know, what if their support, I don't know. But then I guess they have to roam to, honestly, I guess he clears that wave, and then his support, their support and their top laner catch you here, and he misses a wave. It's still kind of a win for him in a sense. He does maybe give his 150 gold, but yeah. I don't know if he, I guess it could be really hard to get here, but I guess he doesn't care as long as he gets his wave pushed in.
Basically, you can. I will never join
Hard.
a fight with my team unless it's the third dragon, or the fourth dragon, or the baron. If it's one of those three, I might join the team fight. But if it's anything else, second dragon, herald, or what people even like to do is they like to randomly team fight in mid lane without any objective being on the map.
So
if there's
stupid.
no objective on the map and a team fight breaks out in mid lane, don't join it. Stay side lane.
It's
not
really
worth
stupid.
Join
Yeah,
team fights
I agree.
that don't have an objective in them.
I
As
agree.
a top laner. But getting into the late game, after 25 minutes, let's say,
Yeah.
you're level 15 or something by then. What do you do in the late game? You come from base? Guess what? You still go side lane. You go side lane and you push out. Again, you shouldn't let waves crash into your tower. Here's the thing with late game. All my strategies, you can throw them out of the window now. Because all of a sudden, deaths are relevant. And dying is a really bad thing. Because your death timer is like 30-40 seconds by now. So dying is very risky. And getting kills on your opponent has insane value. So I will look to play more safe, but also look to kill my opponent a lot more. Whether I assassinate them or whatever, right? Usually by now, if you have all the scaling set up, you will be stronger than your opponent anyway. So you're just gonna beat him most of the games. How do you teamfight with Scion?
I agree with everything, his whole strategy with this cold start. I agree with the cold start. I agree with stupid pots are so bad, honestly. Don't ever buy them. They're such a waste of gold. I think the pink wards, maybe it's good to get. Though you also give the enemy 25 gold, but pink wards are good. The way he plays, maybe not, because he doesn't really care, but honestly, this cold start, he's not playing to win lane. He's playing to scale. So this makes a lot of sense.
You always want to flank, and that's a great thing because you come from a side lane, so flanking is very easy.
Also, by the way, everything he does, and I did play Scion on my like challenger account. Dude, I don't know when the timers are to like get the proxy in. So this is all advanced stuff he does, by the way. It's really hard, and if you know exactly how to do it, it's good. If you don't know, it's really hard to pull off because I don't know how to do it. Even though this guy teaches me, I don't know when the timers are to get those proxies. At least he explains that it's on like the third wave or any cannon wave. You can start the proxy, so that's all I know. But putting it into real-time game, it's very hard. So anyone in like silver trying to replicate it, they're gonna fuck up. Like it's inevitable because they don't understand it that much. So this is really advanced shit he's doing. That's all I'm gonna say, and I can't do it because I maybe could because I just saw this guide. But yeah, on the cannon wave is maybe I'll try it, but I don't know. Well, if I can't get the proxy and I get TF blade,
if there's a fight in mid lane, you will push the wave here, and then you will roll all the way here, and look at this flank you have. You go right into the enemies if the fight were to break out here. So, if you were to team fight with Scion, you want to flank. Always flank. Getting into tips and tricks that help me win the game. I won't go over the normal ones, I'll just go over the ones I see people don't use. So starting off with Scion, getting into the passive. If you're already melee range with your opponent, don't use your active. Once they flash away, that's when you use your active ability. Like here, if you're in range, once he flashes away, then you run after with your ability. What most Scion players do is, as soon as they get into the passive, they will instantly click the ability and they will waste their speed boost. Don't do that. Another thing, close range ultis. If you're close range like this with your opponent, don't just click R. That screws up your camera, it's a lot harder to hit, It's just very sloppy to make. Instead, what you're gonna do is, you're gonna click R plus Q at the same time.
What?
R plus Q. Instead of your camera screwing up, it's gonna make this.
What the fuck?
Much more nicer, a lot easier to hit. It doesn't mess up your camera. It's a weird little bug, I guess you could say. But always use this for melee range ultis. R plus Q. And then into another Q or whatever you want to do after that. Another thing is when you camp the bushes, bush Qs. My signature move is to camp a bush and Q them from Fog of War, right? What I see a lot of players do is they're gonna walk in the bush. They're gonna have their opponent, and they're gonna charge the Q like that. That is not how you're supposed to charge it from the bush. In every single bush, you can always make an extra step. So don't go in here and charge the Q. Always click on this pixel to be right on the edge. This gives you way more range, right? Every bush has a pixel. You click on it, and then you get max range. It's way better. Getting into my second champion here, we have Gragas.
I never see him play this so much.
Unlimited amount of insane combos you can make, right? Let me show you one. Okay, looks a little bit rough. I failed it. I have thousands of hours on Gragas, and I still can't, for the life of me, make these combos work. So you're not gonna go for these combos. They're super unreliable and way too hard to make.
I like this guy.
I have one combo, that's all you're gonna need. That's W, E, Q, flash auto. It's super standard, everybody knows about it. And then pop the Q as late as you can. It's the only combo you will need. You follow up with an ulti after it or whatever you wanna do. Doing these crazy flashy combos are too unreliable, don't do them. Only go for this combo, it's the only thing you'll need to rank up. It's just as good as the other combo. It doesn't look as cool, but we're not playing to look cool, we're playing to rank up. Another trick is when your opponent is under his tower, you wanna cook up your barrel and then you wanna throw him into it. That's really hard to do if your opponent is under tower, because the tower will block them from being displaced. So what I like to do is, I like to cook the barrel under the tower. Your opponent has to move, and then you can push them into it, right? Now the best way to push your opponent into your barrel is to E into ult. So you do Q, you walk up to them, E ult. This will never fail, and it's an insanely broken strategy.
It's hard. Only Gragas players can do it.
Once
it's
they're
hard.
here, you can move them anywhere because you can E. They can't dodge that CC. If you just ulti them from far away, they can easily dodge it.
Yeah.
So cook the barrel on the tower and then E ulti, and it will always go where you want it to go. Another trick on Gragas is the invincible barrel Q. If you put your Q inside of a wall,
what?
This is now invincible to your opponent.
What?
They can't see it. If you put it inside a wall, they won't be able to see it.
What?
The same thing as putting it into a bush. This is being used a little bit, but it is not nearly being used as often as it should. It's such an insanely OP strat. Even here, this barrel is completely invincible to your opponent. So they're just gonna walk straight into it, and they're gonna take maximum damage. Completely invincible Q. Always use the Q into the wall. For champion, Rammus. Very high mechanical skilled champion. No, but there are stuff you need to think about. There are. So first up, you have a 4-mail. Minions are spawning. If you use your Q while you have your W gets removed. So, same goes with the ulti. Your W gets removed. Your W deals 114 damage per attack. The idea is that you should never ever cancel your own W. If your opponent is on 100 health, it's better to keep holding the W than to try and ulti them, because that removes the W, and your ulti barely deals the same amount of damage as one auto attack. As long as your W is active, all you're gonna do is walk around and taunt people. Don't use your Q, don't use your ulti. When it runs out, then you're free to do what you want. Another thing I like to do is, people use Rammus ulti as an engage tool. I don't use it as an engage tool.
I've seen this before.
I always run into my opponent with my Q, and I do the crazy taunt combo. Very hard to do, right? No, but the idea is that once your W gets expired, your opponent is gonna look to kill you. Now they're all gonna jump on you and kill you. That's when you need your ulti to run away. I don't like to engage with my ulti, because I like to
It's really unreliable. It
disengage
sucks.
with it when I don't have my W
it's
up.
supposed to be a
Those are like
dash.
the two the two combos I could find on the champion. Not a very hard champion to play. Of course, the idea with Rammus is you can't clear a wave normally. This takes a year to clear. The whole idea behind Rammus is you don't want your wave, your own minions nearby. You need the enemy minions to only attack you.
Yeah, I know everything about this.
You clear the wave a whole lot faster. So that is the one trick I could give on Rammus, is to always be the only ally nearby. So that's the only thing people can attack. Never be close to your own minion wave, in a way.
It's true.
Our champion and final champion is gonna be Quinn, the bird. The combo is gonna look something like this: E claw, auto, Q auto. So it's pretty straightforward. It is the best combo to make.
Yeah, this combo's OP.
Claw
So
to get
broken.
melee range, and then just
Cancels your
auto
dash
Q
animation.
auto. This has insane damage. It would always one-shot in the middle and late game. One way to improve it is if you're playing versus someone who you need a little bit more damage to, and you don't need the extra range. As you can see, your E is longer range than your auto. But if that's not gonna be a problem, the range, then what you can do is you can run up, and before the same combo, you auto them first. It's like that. This combo will always one-shot, no matter what.
Yep.
You can do the same combo, but with flash. E flash,
What the?
because the E backflip takes such a long time. It's like a
It's like
a self-stun in a way.
Yeah.
So if you can remove the stun
It's like, probably
by flashing on top of your opponent,
broken
or
on
even
her.
flashing sideways, that's a really useful combo to make as well. But if you have claw, you should obviously use that instead. One more trick, which I shouldn't be teaching you. It's a bug. I use it. I'm a dirty bug abuser. Taking a look at the ulti damage, 98. Deals 98 damage.
I don't know where
Which
this
makes
is going.
sense. If you die on Quinn, your first ulti on the way back is gonna deal 196 damage. It deals double the amount of damage your first ulti back after a death.
What the hell?
Keep this in mind. I mean, I abuse it. I know I'm bug abusing, but it's part of the game. That's probably gonna be fixed soon. But while it's still in the game, make sure to abuse it. It has it gives you such an insane damage spike, especially into the late game, because this has a decent amount of AD scaling.
Yeah,
So
seriously
if
good.
you actually get some items under the belt, like that, all of a sudden, it deals 200 more damage. So it's really good to keep that in mind. Your first ulti
I don't think
back
it's that
after
big,
death
though.
is gonna deal double
whatever.
amount of damage. Alright, let's wrap this guide up. Let's summarize it. What did we learn today? Runes, demolish, really good. Scaling runes, incredibly good. Always go for scaling runes. Items, hopefully I taught you something about the Dorans. Stay away from them, don't build them. Going into in-game, always push lane if you can. Always try and be the pusher. If you're gonna die, make sure you die before level 7. And if you're playing Scion, dying when pushing before level 7 is actually good for you. Your KDA is mostly irrelevant. You need to look at gold income instead. You shouldn't go for kills, you should go for money. Make sure you split push. Split pushing is your main objective. You're the turret destroyer. And yeah, hopefully I taught you something about the combos as well.
This
Thank
makes
you so
me
much for
okay.
watching this guide.
Wow.
I did put a lot of effort into the video, so if you could drop a like and no, that is fine. Watching the video is more than enough. Thank you so much, and yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Well, honestly, I'll be honest. This makes me question buying Doran's Shield or Doran's Blade or any of that. And the way he plays, I think actually, if you everything he does that's like on Scion, I'm gonna mainly focus on the Scion part, is extremely advanced things he does that are not for simple players, I guess. Like even I can't do it as well as he does, but the Cole makes a lot of sense. You go for scaling. If you're against a Gwen, you're probably like, I get why he goes Cole now. You're gonna want to scale and get all the proxy, get as much farm as you can. You're playing for laning. You're automatically in a bad matchup. So if you can somehow safely farm the wave if they don't zone you, it's good. But like, yeah, I don't know if a lot of players punish him or not. I haven't seen enough games, but TF Blade, when he faced TF Blade, man, that guy punished him pretty well. Also, he also kind of shit on TF Blade and his team kind of sucked. And then it was a 50-50 game. He still did really well, even though despite the freeze. But yeah, everything here, you just don't straight int. You have to do tactical ints and like do all this stuff and then make the enemy bounty go up, who cares about that? And if you're just same items, it makes sense. So like if you can figure out how he proxies, which apparently you proxy on the cannon wave and get a little bit aggressive on those cannon waves and just int for it, and you have a call, damn, I could see it being really good if you're especially playing for 20+ minute games. Like, I mean, against whatever counter matchup Scion has, yeah, call's probably pretty good, especially the way he plays it. So this makes me also question Dorn's biggest thing is questions Dorn's shield, Dorn's blade, Dorn. I can see Dorn's ring kind of, but whatever, because it gives you a sustain and makes me really question the Dorn's blade. I like the call start a lot, maybe more so, especially on AD carries, right? I actually think AD carries should maybe start Cole a lot more, unless your plan is to poop on lane. But most times I see AD carries and bot lanes, they either perma fight or they perma farm, right? So Cole is probably an awesome buy at level 1, but try, and you have to manipulate the wave in such a way where you get the third wave pushed in and get a free back or something like that. And I do agree with this health pot thing. They're total trash, and I don't know why anyone would buy a health pot for lane. If your idea is to shit on lane, then sure, but it's such a waste. You're denying your late game. As well as the pink ward, I'm against. I think pink wards are pretty useful. I think they're good for getting vision, but maybe honestly he doesn't care if he dies. But honestly, it's a great guide. It made me learn more about the bounty system and how irrelevant health potions really are, and how useful Call could actually be. And the cannon wave. That's something I'll keep in mind. But thank you for watching. That was a great guide, honestly. This is a very advanced game, or advanced guide, the way he plays. So it's not recommended for beginners, but you can figure out if you're a Singe player, man, you already know, right? But thank you for watching. It was a really good guide on why he plays it. It's good. I liked it.